Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If it is your first time here, thank you so much for joining us. I really do hope that you find something that resonates with you and you hit that subscribe button. It's free. And if you're not new here, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me for yet another video. And thank you for subscribing. Thank you for always engaging. I really do appreciate you guys. And I'm back with another video today, and this one's quite exciting because I've been wanting to do this video. I was just waiting for my board exam results, psychometry board exam results, and I passed. So you're looking at an independent psychometrist. Okay, just waiting for my registration. So today I'm basically going to be speaking about my psychometry journey. I know that quite a few people are interested in studying psychometry, so you've come to the right place. Even though I don't know everything, I don't have all the answers, but I hope that this will basically be a catalyst for you to find out more, to learn more about studying psychometry. So a little bit of background information in terms of my education. So I basically studied a BA in psychological counseling, and then I did a BA honors in psychology at UNISA. I also link all my videos about studying psychology and at UNISA as well. I think those are quite informative, or you'll find it quite informative. So I did my BA in psychology. And then, at honors, I was kind of stuck about what to do next. Obviously, I still do want to pursue a master's in clinical psychology. And, those who know that it's not as easy as just applying and getting in. The selection process is quite hectic, and, each university only takes about probably like 6 to 12 people a year, depending on the year and the university, but yeah, basically like less than 15, and you can imagine how many applicants there are. So yeah, that's another video on its own, and I'll definitely just like this video if you want me to speak more about that journey. So basically I'm like stuck with this honors degree, and it's really hard to get into masters. So I just started to think about what other options do I have, and then I came across psychometry. Had no idea it existed as an entire field on its own, but I did a lot of research, and websites like Cognition & Co really did help me find more about psychometry. I don't think if it wasn't for them that I would be here right now. So I always shout out to them. I really do appreciate the work that they do, and I will always refer people to Cognition & Co, people who are studying psychology, because it's such a great platform. Everything you need to know is on that platform basically. So check that out. I'll leave the link in my description. So research psychometry, and then I didn't realize that it was actually like, I guess, a continuation of the psychological assessment module that I did in my honors year. And funny, well, I don't know if it's funny, but I find it funny because I hated that module. I hated it because it had stats, I couldn't understand it. I was like, what is this, honey? Like, this is not English, clearly. Like, I don't understand what's going on. I remember in my honors year, my first module for psychological assessments, I failed it. I think I got like 40-something%. And I was like, I don't understand this. And UNISA, you're basically on your own. You have to figure it out. There's no lecturers. There's no one to help like teach you. You're literally teaching yourself. So it was quite difficult. It was one of my most difficult modules. Cool. My second assignment, I passed it. And then when it came to the exam, I remember definitely feeling like I failed that exam. I even cried after that exam because I was like, yeah, I definitely failed that. I don't know what that was. And a lot of people, I remember we had a WhatsApp group, and a lot of people felt the same. And yeah, so I think I definitely had already accepted that I'm going to redo this module or rewrite it. And to my surprise, I got my results, and it was a 70%. I was like, what? are they sure? Are they really sure? Till this day, I don't know how that happened, but it's all God, honestly. But yeah, so I didn't really understand it. So, but I just like, went for it. And then I applied at UJ at their for their psychometry program, practical program. I didn't get in the first time. Well, I did get waitlisted, but they couldn't find a practical or practicum for me. So basically, the program, it's not just, it's a practical program, so you have to do your practicals as well. You need 720 hours in order to complete the program, in order for you to write the board exam. So, yeah, they couldn't find a company or practicum for me. So, yeah, and then I tried again for so this was last year, beginning of last year, because I first applied for the July to December 2021 intake, and then couldn't get a placement, and then I applied again at the end of last year for the January to June intake, and then I got in, and then they found a practicum for me, which was Nedbank. And then I had an interview with Nedbank. They have their own interviewing and selection process, so I had to go through that. And they also, I remember, gave us, me, an activity to do, just a part of their selection process, and I got in, and it was a very stressful time, let me tell you, because it's December, people are on leave. I remember my fingerprint stuff was quite delayed, so I was waiting, and I had also applied at the Nelson Mandela University, and we also did an interview. I did an interview with them, and that was basically, you just apply, obviously, the paper application, and then you do an interview. I don't know if it's different now, but that's what I went through, and I got accepted as well. So I was caught between the two, but my only problem was that Nedbank was, I didn't know what my outcome was with Nedbank. Obviously, if they didn't take me, that means I wouldn't be able to do the UJ program unless I found my own placement or company that I would do my practicals at. So yeah, literally basically at the last minute, I was able to make my decision between Nelson Mandela University and UJ. So I ended up choosing UJ, and I'm so grateful that I did, because the experience that I got, not just at UJ but at Nedbank, was incredible, like absolutely incredible. I personally think out of all the practicals at UJ, Nedbank is definitely the best, in my opinion. I don't know other people's experiences, but for us, like at Nedbank, we had a lot of exposure to not just just the assessments or the learning outcomes that were required. We really were given opportunities to learn, and we got accreditation training for assessments, and they really did involve us as employees. So it was honestly amazing, and I'm forever grateful for even having a team that really contributed towards our growth, and it was so kind and warm, and they made this whole process so much easier and lighter as well, because it is quite an intense program. So yeah, that's my journey into how I got in. That was my journey in getting into the program. So as much as I know, like a lot of people use it as like a backup to masters, but honestly, and I won't lie, like in the beginning when I started researching it, I did see it as a backup to masters. And once I got into the program, I realized that, wow, this is an entire field on its own. Like, it's an entire profession on its own, and there's quite a lot of opportunities. There are psychometrists that are working in corporate educational settings, in the career guidance space. So it really broadened my understanding of psychometrics and just that field, and I'm so grateful. Oh, and before I forget, I've gotten quite a few questions about whether you can still work while doing this psychometry program, and unfortunately not. You cannot have a job when you are in this UJ and I think also the NMU program. So I think it's, it's super intense. Like, you won't even have time, even if you, like, it's not it's not allowed, but like, even if it was, I don't think you'd be able to work still, like, keep your full-time job. It is super intense. Like, I don't know how that would be possible. And also because, like, the way the program is structured, so we'll have like classes from like in the morning until 1, like usually like our workshops, and then you go straight into work, you go back to work. I know of some people that were in my class who were working somewhere, like had like a different practicum. They could have the rest of the day off, but most of us, we would go back to work, we would go back to our practicum. So usually for me, the way my days looked when I did have UJ workshops, which is most weeks, so we would have classes from I think 8 to 1 or 9 to 1, depending on the agenda, and then 2 o'clock I'm back at it, and I just think, not saying that it was strict like that at Nedbank, but it just depends on you and what work you have. And so for example, if you have deadlines, report deadlines, you're gonna have to go back and write those reports. If you have a feedback session at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, you have to get back at it. So one thing I really liked, and what I've found was a really nice challenge, was that you're in charge and in control of your own growth and development and what you learn. So they're not going to just follow after you and tell you to do things. It's up to you if you want to learn about certain things. It's up to you to grab those learning opportunities. Basically, a lot of people use it as a backup plan, but I don't think you should see it that way, because it's not an easier route. It's still intense. It's still super hectic. I mean, those 6 months, like, you don't get a chance to breathe, because you're in UJ classes, and then you still have to go to your practical, which is like work. It's like studying and working full time at the same time. So basically how the program is structured, you're given classes, but it's not like undergrad or honors or any, or master's type of program where you have courses or modules. Basically, the UJ classes would be, certain service providers and companies that do psychometric assessments. They would come in and, do workshops about the assessments that they do. And then some of those service providers also provided us with classes teaching us about, psychometrics in a nutshell, like JVR, best practice, computerized adaptive testing, just a variety of things. So it's not really like school. It's they train you to become a professional, an independent professional. And we're exposed to so much information, and it really, like, by the time the program was over, I really felt like, I felt confident enough to be on my own, to be independent, because I have all this knowledge and like this training that I have it on lock. Like, I can actually go out there, become either an assessment consultant, or even open up my own practice. So they really did expose us to that, and even ethics, they go through ethics with us. So it's just a different bunch of service providers, like private companies that come in and they train us on certain things. Some of them train us on their assessments, some just provide us with workshops. So it's just a variety of things. Like, it's just a whole salad bowl of different things, delicious things. So yeah, I really like that, because it's very practical. So basically, you have to know the basics of psychometrics. They're not, you shouldn't go into it expecting to be taught about reliability, validity, bias and fairness. You should already know that from your honors, your undergrad and your honors year. And basically this is just you putting it into practice. They just train you to put what you've learned into practice. And of course they do go through the basics, but they assume that you already know that stuff, and you just here to get trained and to see the practicality of it. So yeah, so if you do get accepted, congratulations. I would advise you to just go through your textbook, your honors psychological assessment textbook. Looks different to every university, so use the one that you did use in honors. So this is the one that I used in my honors year. Some people will recognize it. It's one of the popular ones. I don't know, well, there's not many, but yeah. So that's the textbook that I used, and I just literally reread the entire textbook. I revised because I did my honors in 2019, so I was a little like out of it, and remember, like, I didn't really understand this module, so I had to like go back and make sure that I understand everything so that I'm on top of my game and I don't fall behind. So just a tip for you. If you are interested in studying psychometry at UJ, so I can only speak for the place that I studied at. I know that the intake for January to June, the applications are already closed, but I know that you can, I'll put down the email and the link where you can find out information. I know Natasha, you can email Natasha for any inquiries about the psychometry program. So yeah, I know probably the next closing dates for the June to December 2023 intake is probably in the beginning of March, end of Feb, beginning of March. But like I said, please do email Natasha if you have any inquiries. And then what she'll do, I know that this is what they did with me as well. They'll put you on the database. Even if you email now and like, hey, I'm interested in studying psychometry, they can put you on the database so that when it's time to apply for the next intake, they will send you all the information when the time comes. So, and if you have any other inquiries, you can just ask them and they'll let you know. And yeah, so like I said, I don't have all the answers. I know that and I know someone will probably ask me like what like in terms of like the requirements for you to be accepted, possibly. So you need to have a 70% in your psychological assessment module from your honors. And there's currently only 3 universities that offer the B Psych equivalent program in psychometry. So it's UJ, University of Johannesburg, Nelson Mandela University, and Stellenbosch University. So in terms of requirements, I know I didn't apply to Stellenbosch, I only applied to NMU and UJ, and the requirements are similar. You need 70%. The selection processes are different. Like I said, with NMU, you just do the paper application, and then you get invited to do an interview. I don't know if it's changed now. It could be different now. And then with UJ, you do the paper application, and then you get invited. If you make it, there's different rounds. So if you make it to the next round, then you do a psychometric assessment. I can't remember which one. It doesn't really matter because you can't pass or fail a psychometric assessment. So you do your psychometric assessment yourself, and then if you make it to the next round, then you get an interview with the practicum that they choose for you. But if you bring your own practicum, so that's the thing, you can, if you have a company that's willing to take you as an intern psychometrist, and there's a supervising psychologist there, then you can bring your own practicum with UJ, and then UJ will just I guess approve or not approve the company, and that's even better. So like my advice would be to first find, while you're applying or before you apply, find your own practicum, approach them personally and ask like, hey, would you be willing to take me as an intern for 6 months to train me to become a psychometrist, or as an intern psychometrist or student psychometrist? And yeah, that would be better, because that like puts you at a better position in getting accepted into the program. You know, they would love to take a lot more people. I think in my class there were like 35 or 4 of us, and of course they would want to take more, but you know, the issue is the practicums, the placements is not enough. So it's even better if you bring your own. I know some of my colleagues also had their own practicums. They came with their own practicums and it worked for them, and I was just lucky enough to be placed at Nedbank, but I didn't get placed the first time, so I had to reapply. And yeah, so like I said, all the details will be in my description. And in terms of requirements, 70% for your psychological assessment module. And with Stellenbosch, the reason I didn't apply at Stellenbosch is that they also require another another honors module. So usually like you just apply with your entire honors, but they're looking for psychological assessments, whereas Stellenbosch is looking for psychological assessment module, and I think it was basic psychometrics. So when I applied my first time, they wanted me to like basically go through a course of basic psychometrics before getting into the B Psych equivalent in practical psychometry. So that was going to take quite long. So I just took a chance and I just reapplied at UJ, and it worked out for me by the grace of God. And yeah, you know, I wish you all the best if you are applying. So if you are interested in the June to December 2023 intake, I would say start approaching practical companies that do psychological assessments now. Like start approaching them now, so that by the time you apply to UJ, like you already have your place, you know. Yeah, you know, and also like just do more research into what psychometrics actually is and where you could work. So if you are approaching companies, approach, you know, educational type of places. Can approach psychologists who have their own practices as well and who do psychometric assessments as well, and also approach corporate companies that conduct psychometric assessments for, you know, selection or development or succession planning. And yeah, you know, like basically like shoot your shot now to, you know, have a better place when you apply. So yeah, all the best. You know, why not? I think you should definitely go for it if you are thinking about it. And yeah, I'm definitely a testament of like how amazing this program is. Like, you know, I just definitely feel more confident as a, you know, psychology professional now. I feel like now I can, you know, work in the field. Like, you know, it's very difficult to find a job with just a psychology honors degree. You can't really do anything professionally in the psychology field with just an honors. So yeah, it's a good option. So yeah, if you have any questions, please do let me know. Comment down below, DM me. I probably might make this into another series. So I want to also, you know, share with you guys what psychometry actually is, and in terms of what it looks like in the working world and opportunities that you might have, or, you know, like directions which you could go to. So yeah, let me know if that's something you'd be interested in, and I will do that. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please do give this a like if you found this informative, and if you have any more questions or if I missed something that I didn't cover, please do let me know and we'll talk. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe and also share this video for anyone who might find this useful. And I will see you in my next video. Please also turn on post notifications so that you'll be notified every time I drop a video. But I will see you guys in my next one.